which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Welcome. All meeting to order. Anything added on the agenda?
Not that I'm aware of. I'll make that motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approve the minutes of December 9th.
Here in order from last week, motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. General public concerns. Anybody here need to speak? No? Moving on. Alyssa.
Okay, we have a completely different format this year. While I'm handing these out, Jennifer Hanson is with me. She is president of the Partnership for Economic Growth. Oh, you know what? We'll leave one for Bruce. And then your representative is Rick on our board. So we're going to go through something just a little bit different. So maybe you folks know from Rick's updates, but we have spent the entire year, believe it or not, in a strategic planning session. So we have come out, as you clearly can see, with a new name, a new logo. We did keep our vision and mission the same. Everything else essentially is different. So we've really analyzed our entire process, function, staff, etc. So the first thing that I would draw your attention to, oddly, is the request letter. Just to re-emphasize to you folks, we do have a new name. Like I said, our mission of retaining and growing the business industry in Humboldt County has not changed. That won't change. That was clear from the board. We did engage the University of Northern Iowa in February of 24 for a strategic planning session, which the board adopted at our annual meeting in October of 24. So what that did is just really allow for an honest, open conversation. We're fast approaching 15 years in April that we've been charting our growth and our success. And so I do have some of that information in your packet. The first one is a small green card. That is our economic impact to Humboldt County, as I said, in the last 14 years. So a couple things I want to draw your attention to, additional taxable valuation projects that we have directly assisted with in some capacity. 41.5 million has been injected into your county in terms of taxable valuation. Total capital projects is 61.1 million. Another thing that is new for this year that we've started, we track it, but we've never really shared it with you, is the impact of our revolving loan fund. In the last 15 years, we have injected into Humboldt County $3.55 million to small and emerging businesses. The other thing you'll find is just a quick snapshot of our strategic plan. It is 8 pages. I didn't feel as though you folks wanted to go through 8 pages at this meeting, so I tried to capture it just in a quick card for you. The blue areas at the top are priority areas. Those are areas we won't change. The green underneath of there would be our action items or our goals. So organizational stability, business retention and expansion, site and building development, talent and business attraction, and workforce development are priority areas. Those won't change. I don't imagine those change anytime in the near future. Our strategic plan was for a 5-year period. So you see some priorities there. The other thing I really wanted to draw your attention to is really just what we'll spend the next, couple weeks left of 24 and maybe into 25. We're going to share this information with our businesses, make sure that they're aware. As you folks also know, we provide a lot of administrative support to other organizations. We've been sharing that message with them and really trying to make sure that we align properly with those organizations. We've only had one conversation since we've come out of this rebranding, and that was with Humboldt County Housing. And so we met with them last week. They will want to stay as an administrative partner. So the next conversations are tomorrow with Humboldt County Food Pantry, and then in January with the Community Foundation. So back to the request letter. I do have a board roster in there so you can see, we do have some changes. 2025, again, our annual meeting is in October. So Jennifer Hansen became president. Angie Burt is newly elected to the executive committee as vice president, with Doug moving to past president. His term as president has expired. So I also included a budget. We talk about this every year. We're projecting for the next fiscal year, and a lot of what we do is just so fluid. So we do the very best job that we can to show you where we intend to spend the funds. It's super lean. You can see that. The highlight I want to share with you folks is that we operate extremely lean, 1.5 staff on $150,000 budget, with the work that we do. We had a board member say it perfectly. Our organization is one of the most lean, in the state of Iowa. So maximizing our impact as best we can with the human capital that we have. So we are requesting an increase this year. You folks had asked last year when we froze our request to perhaps consider small incremental increases instead of waiting, 5 or 6 years and doing 10,000 or something. So we did request just small incremental $2,500 on top of the typical request. So it's 52,500 is the request. Yeah. What questions can I answer for you, or Jen can answer for you?
Jen, you're on a lot of boards.
Yep.
Support staff today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other duties as assigned.
Yeah. But like you say, our business people on the board rotate every so many years, so we have different business people in the community
Yeah.
on the board.
Great question. We have 3 at-large: Joel Armitage, stay in construction, Nick Nielsen, Casey Nielsen, and Matt Brown, as well as frozen food service, are our 3 at-large industry representatives. Yeah, great.
It's a good variety of what's going on.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we do get a lot of good conversation.
Good perspective. Yep. Partnership with school, hospital. Those are all important for us. Yeah. Intense 8 a.m. board meetings.
No questions?
No, I don't believe.
No, you do a good job. We really
A
appreciate you.
lot of yours is helping me already here. Probably
Yeah.
biggest share. I mean, you try to do your best to attract business, but
Yeah.
growing.
There-
what we
In
have,
my,
so.
in my time, with the exception of Precision Tank, all of our growth is from within.
Mhm.
We are on, in my tenure, our 4th industrial park expansion, with the addition of 3 Rivers Industrial Park. So, Northwest 1, 2, 3, have all been filled. We have just one lot that's not the greatest left. And so, yeah, that's where our growth comes from. And we know that, and we love their investment, and so we'll invest back in them, make sure they're taken care of.
Okay, we'll take it under advisement and we go to the budget.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you for coming down.
Yep.
Okay. Austin, part of Iowa Trust Fund.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Austin.
Grab a seat too, if that's okay.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna get all the paper today.
It's that time of year.
Yep. So if you remember, I came to visit you guys back in September. So what we talked about back, I do. So back in September, we came requesting funding. It was a bad timing for you guys. So I took note of that. So I wanted to come back here December before you guys did your budgeting. So the top page though is a summary of what we have completed in 2024 through the Heart of Iowa Trust Fund for Humboldt County. So I just wanted to give you an update so you acknowledge that the funds are being spent here in county. So we had 2 housing projects completed in Humboldt, 1 Dakota City, and then we currently have 2 pending projects, one in Gilmore City and 1 in Redwood. So the total funds that we will expend this year is 50,406. Our match funds for the 2024 were 10,277. So we get the IFA funds, which is the Iowa Finance Authority, who plug in a lot of our funding. So just want to be acknowledging that we are using all of our funds. We have 5 total houses that benefit from this program. The unfortunate part, housing costs have only gone up. So siding, windows, heating, furnaces, all those projects unfortunately are about $10,000 every project we do now. So the funds don't get spent as many on as many houses as we'd like, but that's just the cost of living anymore. So these individuals that do qualify, they were the 30%, and then there was 2 in the 50% income levels. I don't specifically have those fundings, but it's pretty low income. So it's great that we can help benefit those people and keep them in their homes, which is our goal. Specifically the one in Humboldt, here I helped with the application, and I mean, it needed so much work to keep her in her home. It was more affordable that way than having her move out and go into a nursing home or something of that nature. So that's our goal, that's our intention, keep people in their homes. If you go to the next page, this was the funding source that we brought last year. So this is for the 2025. All the way on the far right column, there's a 15% increase. What I'd like you guys to look at would be the 15% increase, not knowing what we're gonna need for the 2026 funding, because we always ask for commitment in June for you guys for the next year. So this would be theoretically for the 2026. We don't ask for the money until after the first of the year, but we need a commitment letter in June so we can apply for our Iowa Finance Authority application. So this year, the county did 5,000, the city booted the rest of the bill of about 7,000. It was a $12,000 match. This next year going into, so the 2026 year, we would anticipate a total match of about 14,000. Half of that would be for the county and half would be the city. So we'd be seeing about 7,300 and some change that we'd be looking for commitment in the June through September timeframe when we ask for our applications. So what we're just trying to do is get ahead of that. So when you guys do your budgeting, you're acknowledged for the 2026 year. That'll be the obligation. I believe you guys cut the check in the 2025 year though, I think is how you've done. I think you're a year kind of behind on it. So what I'm just trying to do is get that ahead of you for budgeting so you guys can have some of that built in. Like I said, I don't know if it'll be a 15% increase. A lot of counties will do up to, they'll approve an up to amount. So they'll say up to 7,000. And then if it comes in less, obviously we don't ask for that top dollar amount. So what questions do you have for me?
Well, I think the amount of funds you have, you're doing 5 houses, like you say, that's not a lot of money for each house.
I know. It's, I wonder if, anymore, about 10 grand it seems. And usually, typically by the time they get a hold of us, it's not just a roof. Usually it rolls into, it needs some sheathing and then there's, it's the whole works. So, but I will say is, our contractors are really good about acknowledging what needs to be done and what, if they came to one of us, who was, not going through the program, they would say, well, you should do this, you do this. Well, it's really a bare minimum type of projects, right? They're not going, putting the top level stuff to try to boost their profitability.
Right.
We do have a contractor actually out of West Des Moines that has donated a bunch of windows to our Heart of Iowa Trust Fund. None in our county specifically, but he's come up and he'll, donate work and do materials and whatnot. So we have great contractors. Everything's approved through our board. It's a pretty rigid application process. Not just anyone's able to come in. You have to meet the standards that we have set forth by the Iowa Finance Authority. It's not just a free willingly type of deal. So, and it truly does help people that are in need. So,
So it's, we moved to the, part of Iowa, and we used to be in one that was like 20 some counties, and now we're.
so those would be all the counties include. Yep.
This is,
yep.
okay.
Yep, so we actually utilize Fort Dodge. They have 2 administrative people that'd be our expenses that we have. They manage all the applications. They do all of our Iowa Finance Authority application. They take care of pretty much everything. I'm proud to be on the board, but I wouldn't say I do everything on the board either, right? So I represent the county. I have our approval authority on that behalf. I come to help get funding, and then they take care of all the application side. Like I said, I have had some people come to my office, fill out applications, sign paperwork, things of that nature that just don't have printer capability and whatnot, so. But other than that, yeah, it's a pretty smooth running ship that they got down there, so, this would be rolling on my third year of, on the board. They did appoint me as treasurer, but once again, with our gals in Fort Dodge, I don't really have a lot to do. I just need to oversee, make sure funding is the way it's supposed to, review the audits and things of that nature, so.
Okay.
And so is there a representative from each county then? on that?
Currently, we're short two, Calhoun and Webster. Webster is supposed to have two representatives just because of their size. And Calhoun, we have no representative at this time, but the intention, per the bylaws is they're supposed to, if they go 2 years without a representative, they could be booted out of the fund, so.
Oh,
So yeah, so they're trying to get someone, it's not as much time needed as people think, I think. It's a little daunting at first, but, yeah, and I know for Humboldt County, they did not want an economic development or city administrator, they wanted someone outside of that, so there are certain requirements, because they want the board to be diversified in that nature,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
which makes sense.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you guys could consider, if you have any additional questions, you have my email, sure, let me know, I'd be happy to apply.
Okay.
All right,
excellent.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, because that's one less board I was on.
Yeah. It takes a little bit of time, but it's
Yeah.
not too much, so I appreciate you guys' time.
Thank you. Dan out there,
Yeah.
and the other. That he wants to visit for another 15 minutes. I expect him until 9 o'clock.
Right, yeah.
Well, we're early.
Well, I brought bribery.
What do you, what do you want to?
Right. A couple things for the agenda for today. The first is to approve plans and specifications for project BROS dash CO 46 parent 88. This is bridge number 33 over on Iowa Avenue, roughly a half mile south of C 49. It's a single span wooden abutments with a steel stringer bridge. It's currently load rated. Plan is to replace it with an 8x8 box culvert. Dave's been working on those plans.
Looks like it's a little bit skewed, but not bad.
What do you mean by a little bit skewed? but-
Oh, it's not,
It's
I'm like,
not
wait a minute.
90, that's not 90 degrees across the road.
Oh,
A little bit of
Another
angle.
thing.
I. see.
Sometimes they get really crooked, then they get really long.
Okay, I see what you mean.
And then they sometimes gotta have little angles built into them, and that gets more expensive.
Not very many of our drainage ditches cross the county road at a 90-degree angle, so.
Okay.
Straight perpendicular, so everything ends up, like Rick said, a little bit skewed. So it lengthens the box culvert out and makes it a little bit more expensive for us to
Gotcha, okay,
replace.
thank you. Size of box cover?
8x8. For this one.
Motion to approve it.
Everything's in order. You're just looking for when's it's gonna be.
It'll be in March's letting with the DOT.
Okay, so physically next year sometime?
Yes,
Okay.
yep,
So everything is good?
everything is
Problem
good for this
on
one.
your end? I would make a motion that we approve the plans and specifications for said project. C 046, parent number 88, 8J-46.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed, carried.
The second item that I have is to approve plans and specifications for project BROS CO 46 parent 90. This is bridge number 36. This is located west of Hardy on 165th Street, and then if you turn and head south on Texas Avenue, about 3/4 of a mile south of Dean Kitley's old earth house. This is again a single span with concrete abutments and a steel stringer bridge. This bridge was built in the teens. 1915, 1918,
Oh, wow.
right in that era. So this is an old bridge.
DC 252, 421 of 20. That's what it says here.
Oh, that's a spec. This is replacement, I believe, with a 10x10. Yeah.
Yep.
10x10 concrete box culvert, so
Same time frame.
same time frame. This one's a little bit more skewed. This is a 30-degree skew, so we had to go a little bit longer with the barrel sections. Still looking at a March letting through the DOT with next summer, early fall construction.
Again, just looking for the approval. Everything is good, no issues.
Everything's
Moving
good.
forward.
We've gotten all of our environmental permits. Originally, we were shooting for a November letting date, but between all of the environmental, historical, hurdles and permits that you have to go through to replace a bridge now, it delays, construction and it delays productivity.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it one of those fancy cement bridges that have kind of the ornamental stuff? Cause I've seen
No,
a few.
this one is plain
Plain
Jane.
Jane.
Yeah, there's nothing exciting about it, but it's still,
Something you gotta go through.
Yeah,
yep,
there's one, I think on 169 south.
it's got ornamental,
Yeah, like-
bridge rails. and-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it means we don't have ornamental bridge rails anymore. Everything else is good. I had a motion for the approval of plans and specifications for CO 46 98 J-46 project.
One second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Did you say this is gonna be March letting also?
this is also a March letting.
Will they bid jointly or are you gonna bid them separately?
They're not tied together, but they'll be in the same letting,
Oh,
so.
okay, so they're not gonna be tied together. so-
Right. Cause originally these were set up for two separate letting dates. They just kind of fell in together that, the DOT pushed Dave's forward because his was originally scheduled for an April letting. But we wanted them both in the same month.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. There's 6 sets of plans then to get you guys' signatures on.
Okay.
Next item that I have on the agenda is to accept and place on file the minutes from the August 12th, 2024 Board of Adjustment meeting. That is the meeting that John conducted with the cryptocurrency farm, the data mining farm
Yeah,
over
yeah.
by Renwick. So the minutes were never accepted, or they were never submitted to the Board of Adjustment for their approval until last Monday's Board of Adjustment meeting. So at that meeting, they reviewed and approved the minutes. So according to our bylaws, once those are approved, we're supposed to accept and place them on file here at the Board of Supervisors or
Courthouse.
with the courthouse.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What about the acre, 2 acre issue?
That was not brought up in the 30-day window for them
Oh,
to
was
be
it?
able to, we missed
Okay.
it, and then, yeah. So,
Okay. Did we get a copy of the minutes?
No,
I emailed those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trish has them. I have a copy of them in this folder or not. I do not.
You want a copy?
I'd like to see them.
Yeah. Yeah, but before we approve them, I wanna
Yeah, just.
put an eye on them.
What?
Yeah. Okay. Not that we're nitpicking.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing for you to approve, it's just to accept and
Just
place on
accept
file.
them.
The Board of
Yeah.
Adjustment actually
Yeah.
approves the minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
Either approve or deny them, accept them. And then I start signing them. One page.
Yeah, just the top sheet of each one. While we got a break. Might be building walkthrough tomorrow, so. I talked to Matt. Thursday, I believe it was last week, and they were power washing the floors.
Oh.
And their plan is to be sealing them today. And then they need 24 hours to cure, so depending on what time they got done sealing them today. He said potentially walk through tomorrow.
Dave, is there just one place to sign on these?
At the top one on both.
Nice to have
Two
things
of them.
Yeah, there's
done on
two
time.
sets there, but
Two
yes.
sets there, there's two sets there. Sign where your name's at.
It's nice to have things done on time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I went by there the other night, and them lights are bright. You can see them walking right, they're right in the eye. Put a shade on them and bring them down a little bit.
Well, that we can bring them down, but we can look at putting a shade. I mean, they are security lights.
Yeah, but them are. I got a call from the neighbors. So I went by and looked at them, and they are bright.
Yeah, I drove by last Monday after the Board of Adjustment meeting and. I mean, they are lit up, but it's once you get a half block pass in either direction, it's not bad. It's just the neighbors that are probably directly across the street.
Directly across and over on the other side. He comes out of his driveway, then pretty bright, looking right into him.
Here's the stamp.
Your signature bounces around too, so. I know it's not the same spot every time.
That's why I said, look where your name's at.
Should we use first name? Dan, or his?
I talked to him this morning. He said he'd just stop by on his way back
Do
into
they have
town.
to be signed by him?
They don't have to. As long as we've got a majority, we need at least 3 signatures. But he said he'd just stop and sign them when he was on his way back through town.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll make that motion to accept and place on file the minutes from August 2024 Board of Adjustments meeting.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
Hey,
Opposed, carried.
The last item that I have, excuse me, on the agenda is to present the decision from the December 9th, 2024 Board of Adjustment meeting. So the Board of Adjustment meeting on December 9th was for Beartooth subdivision. They are, it'd be, Beartooth Land Company LLC is the name of the actual company. They are looking at developing a subdivision on the northern 64.5 acres of Sheldon Park Road, I guess I'd say, the very north end of Sheldon Park Road on the west side of the road. We had the meeting on December 9th at 6 p.m. At which time they presented their application to the Board of Adjustment. Gary Erickson, the adjacent landowner, was there to voice his concern. He spoke with the owners and withdrew his concern. There was some deliberation back and forth, and ultimately the Board of Adjustment approved the special exception use application for Beartooth Land Company LLC for that 64.5 acres to be able to subdivide that into a minimum of net 2-acre parcels. So when you say net, that means that you can't include road right of way
That's what I was wondering.
to reach the 2 acres.
Okay.
So, talking to them, they do not plan on meeting the county minimum standard for their roadway. So, they will own the subdivision road, and maintain.
So probably like an HOA
Yes,
to,
their plan is to create an HOA,
yeah.
so. I've got the Board of Adjustment meeting minutes. They haven't been officially adopted.
Okay.
We're gonna check with the bylaws and find out if those Board of Adjustment meeting minutes have to be approved in person or if they can be approved individually electronically. So just because of the infrequency of the Board of Adjustment meetings, I mean, they had a meeting in August and then didn't have another meeting until December, so.
Okay.
But that was the decision. The way our ordinance states is that the decision from the Board of Adjustment gets presented to the Board of Supervisors, which starts the clock for 30 days for you guys to
Right.
request them to review it or to go back and relook at anything. So
So that time
That would-
starts today.
that would start today.
Okay, in case there's someone out there who didn't know about it or has
Right.
complaints. Or-
We sent notification to anybody that lived within, or had farm ground within 2,500 feet, which is more than the minimum required, but because it was a subdivision, we extended the radius of that send. So,
And it sounds like other than Gary, no one else.
and Gary withdrew his.
Right.
So,
Okay,
And that's, they looked in and done the figures on crop yield.
You'd have to ask the Board of Adjustment on that. I know they looked at CSR value. That was in there. I know the CSR value just recently changed.
Gotta watch that when you take property out of crop production and put it into residential or housing. You have to meet standards that the government has set.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I know there was talk from the land development company that they had farm ground that was not currently in production that they could roll over to offset.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
Anything else for us?
I will be sending around requests for letters of support again for Murray Bridge for the raise grant application. We did it last year. I believe we had over 20 letters of recommendation from senators and congressmen to county entities to businesses here in town. So we'll be knocking on doors again for that. So.
Okay.
We need a motion on that, December 9th board meeting.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think I was just presenting to you what the decision was, and like I said, that starts the clock for 30 days.
We don't have to accept it today then.
No, not till they approve it.
Right. Beyond that, we were out Saturday and Sunday, obviously. Scratching ice and throwing sand down, so.
Yeah, log off now, so then it's back to normal. Normal when you're driving, as they say.
Yeah, so. Black tops broke up first, white tops were a little bit slower,
Yeah, they were slippery too,
you know.
especially that new one. That one was really
I didn't
slippery.
make it over to the new one. I did make a loop, but I didn't hit the new one,
Yeah,
so.
the one,
It's bad.
Yeah.
the new,
I went to stop and I literally,
yeah,
I couldn't stop. I
Yeah.
just kept moving. It didn't thaw out all day Saturday until Sunday.
yeah, I was surprised as I drove that one, then I drove the one that went west of Thor, which is, I don't
A
know.
couple years older.
Yeah, and that one was way different, and of course, different direction too, but it was, not near as slippery.
Huh.
That new one was, you could ice skate on it. Yeah,
Is this because it's new cement?
I don't know, if it's just it's so white, maybe,
Cause it's got the pigment on it still,
Yeah.
hasn't faded.
Oh.
Whatever it is.
Hey,
I don't know.
I'm guessing. I mean, the first year I know was really tough on blades just because of the tining. You know, it pulls up the small amounts of concrete, which should give you more grip.
You would think so.
Yeah, yeah.
That ice was thick though, it was thick.
And well, it kind of misted and rained all day on Saturday and the roads were fine until sun went down,
Yeah,
you know, and as soon as 5 o'clock hit,
Yeah.
I mean, I was on some gravels and,
The grass was even slick.
blacktops
'Cause I was
after
walking
5
on
o'clock,
grass
and
I was-
I mean, it was difficult staying on gravels at
Yeah,
that
it
point.
was. On the next weekend.
Thankfully, yes, yeah. Okay,
Anything else, Ben?
no, sir.
Anybody got anything else for Ben?
Nope.
I got a question for you, but I'll talk to you after meeting.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Okay, moving on down, committee reports.
All right. This past Tuesday, the 10th, we had a public safety board meeting, first thing that morning. Following that meeting, I had a 911 service board and emergency management executive committee meeting after that to run through next fiscal year's budget. So that was last Tuesday. And Friday, categorization had to have a special meeting to go through some business there, so that was extracurricular, have that in Webster City that morning on the 13th. That's my two meetings last week.
I had Monday morning, public safety, and then Thursday morning, I had the Humboldt County Development Association meeting.
And I had no meetings.
And on Tuesday, I had the Humboldt County Housing meeting at 1 o'clock. And I didn't get any reports on the food pantry, so Bruce can give that next week.
Did you have those?
Humboldt County Housing,
Okay. That was on Tuesday?
Tuesday the 10th, 1 o'clock.
Was yours Humboldt County Housing too?
I sit on that board, but I didn't make that meeting. I
Oh,
was
okay.
busy deer hunting.
He was there on Wednesday.
Okay.
Seen a lot of dead deer.
Let's see what we find, I'm surprised. There you go.
I've seen, actually, the first day we seen more dead deer than we seen live deer.
You got anything else?
You,
Nope.
anybody?
No.
Motion to adjourn.